Hello, learners. Hope you are keeping well. Today we're looking at economic geography, and I'm skipping the slide again. Let me get back to it. All right. And we're going to look at the concepts of industrial development zones, okay, and spatial development initiatives. Okay, those are the two concepts we're going to look at. And as usual, let us look at the curriculum and what it states. Okay, so it states for 2019 November. Okay, and I know I do this for lessons that where the curriculum or the exam guideline rather actually tells us certain things and how we adjust them. Okay, and the supplementary 2020, you do the IDZ, which is short for the Industrial Development Zone, and that will be Saldanha Bay. Okay, that's what you will be doing. You will still be required to know the location of the IDZs. Okay. Then you will do the SDIs, that's the Spatial Development Initiatives. And again, it states here 2019 November and supplementary 2020. Okay, these two will be tested, the Platinum Spatial Development Initiative and the Richards Bay. And of course, you're still required to know the location of all the SDIs. Okay, that's what you know. Now, please note, and I know your teachers would have told you this, okay, and they would have indicated to you that this same SDIs and IDZ will apply for the 2020 prelim and final examinations. Okay, so please note that, all right? But I'm sure your teachers will have told you that already. Okay, so let's go on. All right, now before we even look at the different, the specific IDZs that we are going to discuss, all right, let's look at what is the concept of an IDZ or Industrial Development Zone and a Spatial Development Initiative. All right, so let's get going with that. Let's look what does Industrial Development Zones actually mean or what is their purpose. All right, here the aim is to encourage manufacturing in areas and use resources in those areas. And resources mean the natural resources, the human resources, all are used from those areas. All right, to produce goods instead of importing them. Beneficiation. I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. All right, so that is the aim. Why bring in and import expensive goods and sell our raw materials at a lower price? Let us produce ourselves so that we cut down on the importing of goods. Okay? We cut it down. We do not want to do that. So also we will notice that they are generally located around transport routes that have international links. Example, harbors. Why? In order to promote exports. Let's sell our processed goods to other countries. Let's get the dollars in. You understand? Which is quite a big currency. Convert it to our rands and we have a lot of money in our pocket. Let's do that. So they are located near major transport routes that we can export. All right. And it's nice if you break it down. Industrial, dealing with the industries, manufacturing, development, we're developing an area. Okay. And zone, it's one area. Okay, like Saldanha Bay down here. I'll give you another map just now. Okay, there's another one down here. All right, we got Richards Bay. Okay, we've got East London. Okay, we've got development zones which we're broadening. They are established in those areas. Okay, but we're broadening them. Okay, right. Now, spatial development initiatives. What are they now? Okay, we said this is a zone, this is an area. Okay, here also the aim is to promote growth in areas that are underdeveloped, okay, but have economic potential. Example, the raw materials are there, sometimes part of the infrastructure is there. All right, we can use them, okay, with a big aim, all right, to create new jobs for the people, all right, and improved infrastructure, improving the transport networks, etc., so that we can attract foreign investors and investors in general. Okay, we can bring them in. And you see here, they are all around also. The Platinum SDI, the High Felt Initiative, okay, the Maputo corridor. It's known as corridors too because it's found on a long strip. You understand, along which development occurs. Road networks are improved. Okay, it's so clearly to see on the coast to coast. You can see the transport network here, right, moving along from one side to the other. So it's corridors also. That's what it's also known as, the spatial development initiatives. It's covering an area, okay, that will have development. So this, you can see it's spread out. And it's one form also, because earlier on in your lessons, when you did the core industrial regions, you found over 80%, isn't it, on the PWV, etc., where development was happening. This is taking development to other parts of the country. Brilliant. To uplift them, to bring in employment, to build infrastructure, the well-being of the people will improve, to create more exports, etc. Okay, so this was there. Right, let's go on. So simply put, if I look at the difference between an SDI, right, this is just a description, learners. The other one is actually telling you what the concept is. So if they tell you what the concept is, then you'll have to give us the other one that I spoke about, all right, just now. All right, SDIs, which are spatial development initiatives, are broad geographical areas. It covers a larger area with the transport networks, etc., as I showed you. All right, with different economic activities taking place. While the IDZ is a specific smaller area. Remember, it's like Saldanha Bay, and maybe I'll go back to that. All right, can you see Saldanha is a specific area? It's that little dot there. That's the area. Whereas if you look at the west to west, coast to coast rather, as SDI, it's covering an area. Can you see it? That's your different with a variety of stuff. Okay. And it's this one, the IDZ is targeted for industrial export manufacturing. Big target. You understand? For export, we want to send our stuff outwards. Okay, that is what we want to do. Export them, as I indicated earlier. Let's not rush through this. Can you see it? Generally located near transport routes, have international links, example harbor, in order to promote exports. So it's one area. Okay, that's your simple. Then just to summarize the basic things that we mentioned. Okay, industrial development zones close to harbors, just to show you a clear difference. Airports, etc., include already existing factories that's in the area. We develop them further. Okay, in a town or wherever it is, government plans to upgrade of infrastructure, services to attract further development and investment. You understand? That is the thing there. Harbors, export, etc. All right. Spatial development is a development corridor that is development along major transport routes. It's covering a larger area. Example, a major highway. It connects major industrial and mining areas. All right, all that is used. Investors will come in because of the raw materials, etc., that are found in this area. So we're building. All right. Government improves infrastructure all along the development corridor. All right. The corridor meaning it's along the way. You understand when you walk through your school corridors, you walk along it. When you go to your school classroom, all right, it's one classroom. Okay. Just to make the example simple, please don't use that in exams. All right. You'll get it wrong. Okay. So along the corridor to stimulate development and access along the route. Because we don't just want development at a specific point. We want development along that route. You understand? Because then we're developing properly. Okay. Small towns and activities such as farming, tourism are developed along that route. You understand? Obviously, all these things will come about because if people are coming, farming will improve. You understand? Tourist sites, etc. Okay. Now, one fact that we can observe: IDZs, in many cases, are linked to each other or major cities by SDIs. They linked. Right? They are linked. And I want to show you that a little more also. Okay. Now, okay, let's just go back here, learners. I want to show you this one. You can see here, there's your IDZ, Saldanha Bay, and there's an SDI that also links up Cape Town down there. Can you see it? Can you see these IDZs here? They are linked. Can you see it? Look at here, they are linked. So SDIs play an important part. They do have a relationship. You understand? If you take Saldanha Bay, all right, it's linked to Cape Town, which is good. You understand? Creates accessibility, all right, between Cape Town and the IDZ of Saldanha Bay. Okay, so there's strong linkages that are found. All right. You can see various, as I say, we need to know the names, various IDZs that are found in our areas. All right. And you notice how many of them are along, all right, the coast, which allows for exports. Eh? And this is the one that you will be dealing with for your final exams. Even this one, all right, you will find that it is near major transport networks that will link it to harbors like Maputo, etc. Okay, so very, very strong areas. So these are some of your major IDZs that are found in the country and their location. Then we look at, and I'm going to move my face a bit more up. It's refusing to move. It wants all the attention. All right. Then we look at the SDIs, the Spatial Development Initiative, and you can see how many of them there are. All right. Okay. Lots of them are in strategic positions. All right. This is linked, the coast to coast is linking both sides. You understand? From there right to this side. Imagine a beautiful linkage on both sides. Brilliant. All right. Harib SDI, West Coast SDI down here. Yeah, you can see it clearly. It's linking up towards Cape Town. Eh? The Platinum SDI, which you will be dealing with, found in the area here around the provinces here. All right. And then you find Rustenburg, etc. And then here we will find the Richards Bay along the coast, KwaZulu-Natal. So we can see various SDIs, all right, that are found. You just need to know the location and the SDI, okay, in terms of that. All right. So we looked at all these things and we looked at the linkage between them. Right. Let us start off now with the IDZs and the SDIs that you need to study. All right, the specific SDIs. And the first one is the Saldanha Bay SDI. I found this lovely little caption here, which gives us a summary of it. And let's look at it. Okay. The Saldanha Bay is north of Cape Town, very important. It focuses to service the primary oil, gas, and marine repair engineering. It's right there at the harbor, eh? Logistic services in Africa, serving the needs of upstream exploration. Down here, upstream exploration. All right. And industry and production services companies operating in the oil and gas fields of sub-Saharan Africa. So it's in a very strategic point, to serve sub-Saharan Africa, going up and up, around everywhere down here. It serves them. Okay, so it's quite strategic in that sense, in various things. But we're going to simplify this explanation, all right, as we go through now. So, first of all, in terms of province, because it's near Cape Town, it's situated in the Western Cape. It's actually 105 kilometers north of Cape Town, not very far. So it can service that area also. And if there's any needs from Cape Town, it can obtain it because it's linked by the West Coast SDI also. All right. Then Saldanha Bay, the town itself, is developed north on the northern shore of the bay. The bay is here and it's on the northern shore of the bay. All right. It's South Africa's first sector specific, means a specific activity that's taking place here. So it's a sector specific industrial development zone. And it's catering specifically to the oil and gas, maritime fabrication and repair. Maritime referring to all the shipping and whatever. You understand? Uh, those things that they may produce parts and they will repair it. So oil and gas, right? Maritime fabrication and the repair of maritime products, etc. That's dealing with the shipping and things like that. All right. So very, very important for that. Can you see in this case that why it will be in demand, this area of doing that? Because things like oil and gas, etc., is shipped. Okay, so this place plays an important part in repairs and whatever that's needed in those areas. All right, let's go on. Uh, Government stipulated things. I thought I want to bring this in because it brings out the purpose of the area and the purpose of the SDI. This was the government mandates, stipulated by the government, the conditions, all right, or the purposes when setting up the Saldanha Bay IDZ Industrial Development Zone. These were the main goals, the mandates, all right. Manage, market, and promote Saldanha Bay IDZ. Can you see? It was to promote it also. All right, they came and got involved, which is excellent because government support is needed. All right, so it's promoting, okay, it's marketing it, it's managing it also. They got involved in the management process of seeing overall overview of how things are going. Is it going properly? What are the needs? You understand? Is the process flowing smoothly? Of course, with the main focus on oil, gas, and marine repair. Okay, marine repair. All right, that is the big thing. Okay, the oil and gas services that are offered here and repairing of marine shipping, etc. That was the main purpose. Remember, we said it's sector specific. Okay, you can see here the establishment of it, huge in this area. All right, there's your port here. All right, provide internal infrastructure to enable investors to set up operations. Another important thing, learners. All right. If you find you may attract them, but if you don't have the infrastructure that we see here, investors are still not going to come. All right. If you just find it's a port, you can export, but they need facilities, transport routes in between, warehouses. You understand? All those things, the power supply, and various things need to be put in. Okay. In order for them to come in, because they don't want logistic problems, logistic referring to movement, etc. They want easy access to everything. So to provide the internal, whether it's power, whether it's roads, whether it's whatever, you understand, services, because you have to be good to these people to bring in this. All right. Provide suitable land for development. All right. Land in terms of location to the bay, all right, in terms of its characteristic, flat land, etc. You have to provide that to attract this. Okay. Uh, Assist in the ease of doing business. I see I put it in capital letters, maybe it's important. Give them assistance, make them feel welcome. They have logistic problems. We can't get these things coming through. You understand? Oh, we're having this problem with movement of stuff. Get them and help them. Make them feel comfortable. Have people to support them, advising them. All right. These were the main initiatives. All right. Can you see it? Can you see here, Lannis? A, project-based leasing facility where they could borrow. B, storage, fabrication, and offices where they could store things. All right. C, storage, fabrication, offices, and technology facilities that are offered. Can you see all these facilities that are offered to them to attract them into the area? Okay. Main industries in the area, as you can see it, oil and gas services. All right. Oil and gas services in the area. Okay. Marine repair cluster, repairing, you understand, in the area. Okay, steel and minerals production and manufacturing. Okay, producing steel, etc. Because you need to produce that if you want to make those parts for the ships, etc. Okay, or repair parts, you need the steel, etc. Okay, and of course, other minerals get produced also, manufactured. All right, whatever is available there, and bringing in, okay, for various things that are needed. Okay, we're not going to go into specifics of that. We are not geologists. Okay, then specific factors favoring, okay, or factors favoring. Let's look at what they have. All right, and there's a whole list of them here. A deep port. All right, now a deep port, why is it important? It allows for large, heavily loaded ships. Can you see the ships here? If the depth is greater, can you see the ships are right nearby? And these big ships can come in carrying a lot of cargo. You understand? So that's an advantage. All right. The depth of the water helps them to get access to the deep water ports, as shown here. Brilliant. Because then you can bring in, you can send out things. All right. Good geographical position, learners. All right. The location creates a linkage point for both sub-Saharan Africa and international markets. All right, brilliant. I want to go back here quickly to show you that. All right. Okay, can you see where it's situated? Sub-Saharan Africa is right there. Plus, it can send out things, all right, to other continents, etc. Okay, so it's got a brilliant location. All right. Then, good transport link with Southwestern Core Industrial Region. All right. If they want to send stuff out there because the accessibility is good. All right. Growing demand for offshore oil and gas platforms. All right. There's a demand for it. You must know there's oil, all right, in Africa, etc. So there's a demand for it. And if there's a demand for it, there will be investments in the area. You understand? There will be business transactions. There will be exporting of our production down there. All right. So oil platforms, components, services, and repair in West Africa. All right. There's a demand for it, for these services, repairing, for parts. You understand that Saldanha Bay can offer them. Brilliant. All right. Okay, existing relationships with neighboring countries, SADC, etc., and then of course sub-Saharan, further up. Okay, these not right up, but around our area, there's good relationships, and good political relationships allow for trade to happen. Okay, and obviously government support, which is important. This area has received government support in terms of technical advice, financial, you understand, various things, and that played a big part. Okay, and of course, our general factors apply, like labor supply. All right, there is enough labor supply there, there's sufficient land available to be developed. Okay, sufficient electricity supply. I know it may not be close to the coal mines, etc., but they made a plan. They supplemented it by renewable energy production. So that's one of the productions also, renewable energy that has been produced in the area. All right. So there's various other productions that are happening in the streets. Please, learners, don't note, or don't say don't note that it's not only gas, etc. That's the main activity. Other industries that come into the area also exist there. So it's been supplemented by renewable energy. All right. So that is your IDZ, Saldanha Bay. Then I told you you need to learn or study two SDIs, Spatial Development Initiatives. And the first one is the Platinum Spatial Development Initiative. Can you see it around here? All right, it's in the Northwest Province. Okay, and you can see it plays a big part. It's linked to other spatial corridors also. Can you see it? All right, so its linkage is very good. Okay, near Gauteng also, the PWV. Okay, so it's a brilliant place to set up the SDI. So it's located in the Northwest Province. Okay, and the purpose here was to develop a strip of land about 100 kilometers wide between Gauteng, all right, and Lobatse in Botswana along the N4 highway, all right, the N4 highway. So it's linking up even Botswana, all right, brilliant. All right, we're having more accessibility to markets, etc. All right, it generates linkages with the rest of the province. From here, the rest of the province has linkages around. All right, the Northwest Province as we move. Okay, I'm making the Northwest Province a bit bigger. Sorry, apologies, but the Northwest Province. And gradually developing the whole province, because investment is coming in and opportunities in other part of the provinces or other parts of the province will also be positively affected. All right. And of course, eventually the country as such. Can you see it? The whole country gets developed because from here there's investments going. You understand? Gauteng gets influenced, other provinces get influenced. Okay. It forms important links with part of the Centurion Corridor or SDI, coast to coast SDI, Maputo. You understand? Can you see how many? So Maputo will lead it to the Maputo Harbor also. Okay. The Trans-Kalahari Highway, all right, previously known as the Trans-Kalahari in Botswana. Okay, so can you see the important links? It's not just about this SDI. You understand? It's not just SDI. Imagine it linked to the coast-to-coast SDI. Imagine that accessibility, learners. Brilliant. You can send things out easier. It will attract investment because, whoa, if we are located in this platinum SDI, we've got accessibility to from the west to the east of the country with the coast to coast, so we can have beautiful accessibility to send our products out, etc. Okay, to harbors that are linked there. Can you see? Brilliant. All right. Of course, we must remember the main aim was to create employment, all right, in the area. And with employment comes a better quality of life. Okay, a better quality of life in the area. All right, learners, that's your brief thing about the platinum there. We're going to go on to main activities. All right, it focused on your industrial adventures, many of them. Look at what is coming through. Some little pieces were established already in the area, but they expanded it further through this spatial initiative, passing through more investors, etc. Some of them are motor assembly supply chains and projects, leather, ornamental stones, wood and paper products, food and beverages. Of course, people need to eat, eh? And the more the investment, the more the employment, the more the food and beverages, electronics, furniture, metal products. All right. All these are industrial ventures that some of them existed and were expanded on, and some of them formed. Okay. Because of the potential of the area. All right. Because of the sufficient raw materials. I use this one, black granite, for ornamental purposes. Enough raw materials, whether it's agricultural or mining. I'm going to repeat this point when I get to factors favoring. Tourism, more than 130 potential tourism related developments were identified. All right. Sun City, not the prison. This is a hotel. All right. So, and the Lost Palace in and the Pilansberg Game Park, brilliant tourism attractions and eco-tourism attractions. All right. Okay. It must be noted that tourism will stimulate growth in the secondary sector. Example, construction. All right. So tourism may be a tertiary activity, but lots of things get influenced in the secondary sector, like construction of infrastructure, buildings, etc. So it's going to bring in a lot of secondary activities that's going to come to the area if you want to link the tertiary activity to the secondary activity. All right. And of course, agricultural projects on the eastern part of the SDI. Quite numerous agricultural projects came up because of the suitability of the area, you understand, and of course the demand for crops, etc., to come in there, or livestock for the leather, etc. Can you see the leather industry is related to this? Okay. Factors favoring good infrastructure, as we picked up already, learners. I don't want to keep using up your data. I know we picked it up, but I want to go under factors favoring a little bit faster then, because we've covered them. All right. Transport. Okay. Various things about transport. It's well linked due to linkage with other SDIs. Okay. So it takes it to the harbor. You understand? Brilliant. Okay, because you know there's a slight distance to harbor, but if you got beautiful roads, rail, etc., taking you there, it's still good. Okay, it creates accessibility for this area, as we've learned. It makes it very accessible. Businesses want to come there because they know they can send their things out with beautifully built transport networks. Can you see? Linked to all forms of transport. All right, air, rail, road. Example, the harbor in Maputo, water transport. It's linked to it. Sufficient raw materials, mining and agriculture. You know, when you've studied the primary activities in that section, all right, you already learned about the raw materials being found in the northern section of South Africa. There's a lot of variety, and that's going to attract investors. You understand? Hey, there's so many raw materials. I don't need to pay expensive prices to transport them into the area. I got it right there or nearby. You understand? So that's another thing. Then we look at example. I'm like this. Maybe I like black granite a lot. Black granite for ornamentals, stones, for tabletops. Can you see it here? Beautiful. I wish one day I win the lotto and I can put this in my house. Oh, it's lovely. All right, can you see that? Okay. And then due to accessibility and demand for the good market, all right, good market is, due to accessibility also and all these things, a good market is available because it's also demand for it. And this market is both domestic and international. Locally, people are buying it and it's exported. Beautiful factor favoring. Okay, we have sufficient water supply in the area, large labor supply. This is the general factors again. Government support again. And we have established tourist sites already, which we can increase the number, like your sun cities, etc. Sufficient land available and relatively cheap and sufficient electricity close. Coal mines are close, and same with this. It's brilliant in terms of our electricity supply because we need power for manufacturing, etc. Okay, even for the tourist sites, you need power supply, and having the nearby coal mines, it's relatively cheaper. I know you're putting your hands up in class to say, what about load shedding and what about the increased costs? It's still relatively cheaper to other parts that are away from the coal mines. Okay, right, learners. Let's look at the Richards Bay Spatial Development Initiative. All right, and we notice about Richards Bay, the ADs down here, okay, in this area, around or near Richards Bay itself, okay. So we've learned it's located in KwaZulu-Natal along the east coast, okay, and it has good transport links with core industrial regions like Durban, Pinetown, and PWV. Also important accessibility. Those areas have the market also. You understand? For us to sell, that would encourage investors again. Once again, we're picking on the investors. All right, and then we go on. We know a little bit about that. Then we look at the main industrial activities focused on. Agro-processing is a major industrial activity in the Richards Bay SDI. What is agro-processing? I know we find this in the books. Agro-processing is a main thing. All right. Agro-processing is transforming products that originate from agriculture or from farming, transforming them. It doesn't have to be complicated transformation like sugar cane to sugar. There we have it here. I'm going to put my arrow here. Can you see it? Sugar to sugar cane. It's agro-processing, processing agricultural products. That's where we get the name from. Okay. It can be done on a primary level, involves activities such as crop drying, shelling, all right, shellfish, etc., cleaning of the crops or the products, agricultural products, grading and packaging. What grade they are? Grade 1, grade 2, and packaging them. So you're not changing it much, learners. Okay? You're not making a big change in it, changing it from the sugar cane to the sugar. Like if you got any nuts, you just keep it as nuts and you clean it up, you grade it, etc. Then you've got the secondary level agro-processing, which entails increasing the nutritional or market value of the commodity by changing the physical form or appearance of the commodity, not a commodity. All right. Okay. So you see the sugar cane here, how it looks. Now look at this. It's made into sugar blocks. Can you see it? All right. That's changing the appearance. It makes it valuable. All right. Sometimes products are made more nutritious. Peanut butter, I'm supposing, I'm not a consumer studies teacher, but you get peanuts, making peanut butter, they add certain nutritional things into it, etc., to make it more nutritious, right? But the peanut butter doesn't look like the peanuts. The sugar doesn't look like the sugar cane. Okay, that's secondary where we're taking it, all right, and we're changing it. You take maize and you make cereals. You understand? Cereals look a bit, you understand, but it's changed colors, etc., adding nutritions. Okay, you've got that, learners? Then metals beneficiation. All right, beneficiation. All right. Okay, apologies. A process that improves or benefits the economic value of the ore. Example, producing aluminium and iron and steel. It's done in this area. Okay, you take it, you change it. All right, it improves the benefits. Okay, if you sell your iron ore, all right, as a rock, you just buy it for a small price. I change it to aluminium. All right, that will sell for more because it's more purposeful in terms of usage, buildings, etc. Aluminium along the window rails. Okay, iron and steel, which is then used in the car, not the iron ore. Remember, so these are the main things, all right, that are done in these areas, the main industrial activities. Factors, specific factors favoring. I added the specific and general also. All right. Deep port. Can you see it? Again, here, this area has a deep port. It allows for large, heavily loaded ships. Same like Saldanha Bay. The depth of the water, access to deep water ports. All right. The port allows for cheaper export of goods and cheaper import of items needed for manufacturing. So this deep port is Richards Bay itself. All right. It's found near that Richards Bay. Okay. Brilliant. All right. So they have a huge advantage as I've discussed it under the Saldanha Bay IDZ. And again, it's linkage to the Durban, Pinetown, and PWV, good linkage, more markets, etc. Doesn't just have to be international, local also. Why not make the money, bring up the investment, and more people will come and invest there. Maybe sometime people will even move away industries from the PWV and come there because it's more viable for them. All right, that can happen. All right, and of course, this creates good accessibility for this area. All right, brilliant accessibility. All right. Again, there's sufficient raw materials pertaining to those industries like sugarcane and agricultural raw material that's available. Again, here, the same, due to accessibility and demand, a good market is available, domestic and international. The port nearby of Richards Bay, you understand, will allow them to export, plus a domestic market, you understand, that needs the products. Okay, it's linked to the PW, Durban Pinetown. Demand there for it, it's sold to those areas. Okay, suitable climatic conditions. We're around that eastern part of South Africa, and when you learn climatic conditions, you know, okay, variety of crops, etc., can be grown there. So we're not just sticking to one. We can create a variety of products based on the demand. All right. Good rainfall in the area. You know the east. Good water supply. Okay, large labor supply available. Again, government support. Sufficient land available. Oh, I like this land one. I'm repeating it. Large amount of land available. Sufficient, large. Okay. It's a land issue. All right. But it's the same fact. All right. It's not two different factors here. Eh? Relatively cheap and sufficient electricity as coal mines are close. So power again for this area. Can you see how government also looked at developing the IDZs and in this case the SDIs next to suitable conditions? All right. Okay, so that they can prosper. You don't just go and build it anywhere. You understand? In the middle of a desert. Okay, you look at conditions also. You find that out and potential, and then you develop. Okay. Now, let's look at some of the benefits. We never know. You understand that these things can be assessed, etc. Okay. We always need to bring it into perspective. Okay, the social and economic benefits. So I'm going to give you some here. Okay, but please, in all these situations, bring it into the context of your assessments that you're writing in class or wherever. Okay, what is shown there. All right, we know in terms of our social and economic benefits, it creates employment. That is very important. All right, because employment will do so many things for them. I'll talk about it now. Earning potential increases. Okay, not just employment. All right, you may get a job, but some people now, as this coming in, there's more opportunities. Okay, they may get better jobs with higher pay. Okay, imagine their buying market potential. All right, okay, buying power of locals increases. You would have done the multiplier effect. As more people buy, more production, variety of crops, etc., variety of products, all these things increase. Okay, because the market is increasing. Okay, and as the market increases because of the buying power of the people, so does the products being sold or the products produced, etc. Because the local market is very important, learners. If you've got a local market, you already is selling your stuff immediately. You're not paying for much transport costs, etc. Okay, social factor, improving quality of life of people. Okay, employment will allow them to afford their basic needs, which sometimes is lacking. All right, now they can afford it, or their wants. So the quality of life, they had a small TV, now you've got this big flat screen. Okay, so it grows up. Skills development is another issue because it's available now. You understand, institutions will be popping up in the area, okay, to train people because you want to use local skills, isn't it? Why pay for foreign labor from other places? You want to use local skills, and that's developing the local communities. All right. Infrastructure development, transport networks improving in the area, facilities, you understand, banks, whatever will be developing in the area. But your transport, specifically with infrastructure, your transport, your power supply, those things will be improving in the area. All right, making it good for everybody to attract investment. Okay, improvement of services and facilities. Okay, in the area. Example, increases tourism, resulting in more recreational facilities, health facilities. You understand? Education facilities. Now we have to train the people to do the job. Okay, all these things. More investment and greater income to the area itself as more people invest. You understand? And more people come in and the businesses are thriving. More money is coming into the area. All right. So more money to various factors. With that also, you will find other tertiary sectors will come up. Your shops, your food, and I'm trying to use the simple examples that will pop up also in all these areas, okay, that will allow for them. So these are some of the social and economic. I know you may say, but what about environmental? Environmental, obviously, if you're creating development learners, it's going to impact negatively on the environment itself. All right, this is always happens. Maybe on the other hand, we had subsistence, part of it, subsistence economy there. Okay, who are using the land around them, which may be very limited. You understand? That could have a positive effect. In fact, they would not damage the environment as much. They would do now more formal jobs. But generally, it does have a negative impact on the environment itself. Okay. Of course, no presentation here. We have to do a DBE pass paper. in the sense, and which I chose the 2019 paper, and I chose this for a specific reason. You know, sometimes we look at the paper, learners, and we say, but if I look at the strategies for industrial development, and it's Richards Bay, and it's showing us the bay. You understand? But we did the Richards Bay SDI. And then you say, I can't. Learners always learn that you will get questions like this. All right. Look at the questions itself and what is being answered. All right. Because the examiners know and they will make it manageable to answer if you study your work. All right. I know some learners came out, but this was not there. It's not an SDI. It's just talking about Richards Bay. And I said, can you answer them? So that is why I raised this issue, all right, or this question. So let's look at it, what it's giving us here, learners. There's our Richards Bay around here. Can you see it? Okay. Now, if I look around, it's showing us sugarcane. It's showing us Mondi, which is the paper people. All right. Can you see Mondi paper? All right. It's showing us various things here. It's RBM, Richards Bay Minerals. Can you see it? The sugarcane, the sugar mill. All right. SM. So it's giving us various things in this area. All right. Telling us about the road networks. All right. That's found here. Okay, so let's look further. It gives us information about the activities that are taking place in this area of Richards Bay. Now, let's look at the questions and I want to show you something. All right. First question. In which province is Richards Bay located? Fine. We're not using the word SDI that the examiners have set on Richards Bay. Do not just stop and say, I cannot answer this. Right. Which province? You know already. Right. From the SDI, you know it's in KwaZulu-Natal. All right. And I know memos say except KZN. Learners, I want you to write KwaZulu-Natal. Okay. Give two examples of industries in Richards Bay found on the map. Can you see it? Okay. Bayside Aluminium, Hillside Aluminium, Richards Bay Minerals, Mondi Paper, IQF Fertilizer, Sugar Mill. Right. These were given. All right. Now go back to the diagram. Can you see them? All of them are here. Mondi Paper, Hillside Aluminium, Bayside Aluminium. Can you see it? All right. It's there. Okay. So far, learners, what has happened? I've got the 3 marks available already. All right. In terms of this, can you see it? 3 marks. Okay. Let's go on. Why is this area the leading manufacturer of heavy machinery? Okay, Richards Bay itself. All right. Now, I want to show you something here, learners. Maybe you don't know. Why would people, what would a heavy industry need? Okay. Now, in this case, there are smelter factories melting the ore, etc. Okay. You say, I never did smelter. Now, let's look at, right. Raw materials needed for manufacturing industry are nearby. Can you see it applies to the SDI? Can you see? It's a factor. You know that the SDI is near Richards Bay. All right, to have the raw material. So can you see? You can answer that. Okay. Available cheap electricity due to nearby coal fields. Available labor force. Didn't we learn that about the Richards Bay SDI? Can you see it, learners? So the word SDI is missing. Right. They were made things like smelting factory, etc., coming through. But the examiners will ensure that there is sufficient answers that you know. You understand? All right, aluminium, etc., will need those smelting factories and things like that. You understand? But you know certain answers. Can you see the next one? Well-equipped harbor for export of large manufactured goods. The deep harbor that we have there. Good rail and road networks. Can you see? To the Durban, Pinetown, and PWV regions. All right. Large amounts of land available for industries. Learners, you see what I'm getting at here? The answers are there. Okay, so make sure when you get your 10 minutes reading time in your prelim or your final paper, don't just look, oh, this is not the SDI. This is just Richards Bay. It's still in the same area. Okay, I'm not saying it's always going to be like this. You most probably can get an SDI or an IDZ or whatever specific, but if it comes out, don't just neglect it. All right, and say I'm not. It's actually an easy question. Okay, can you see? Access to large supply of water. Okay, demand for heavy machinery in the industries, accessibility to international markets. It's a break of bulk point, all right, that you've done in your section of types of towns, etc. But within this, you could give the majority of the answers, yet only two were required. All right, we never know all the answers, but neither can the examiners test you on 10 factors. It has to be 4 factors. All right, that's the maximum. Okay, which is 8 times or 2 times of 4 times 2, which is 8 marks. Can you see it, learners? All right, so that's how we go about it. And I want to look at the next question, learners. Look at this. Why would industrial development in Richards Bay be an advantage, not disadvantage, to the local community? Can you see that again? You've done it. Social, economic, etc. comes in now. All right. And you need 2 facts for this, fully explained. All right. Watch. Employment opportunities needed in infrastructure or industries development. All right. How would it be? Please answer fully. All right. You must say employment opportunities created in the industries or infrastructure. All right. Earning potential increases. Can you see? We're dealing with the social and economic factors that will benefit the local community. Can you see it? We're basing it on that. So the word local community came, and suddenly it looks a bit different, but it's a local community. How I could phrase this as, how could the people benefit from this that's living in the area? Can you see it? Buying power of locals increase multiplier effect. Poverty is reduced, obviously, because now they have jobs. They have better jobs also, better salaries, so less poverty. Accessibility to more and better services, isn't it? All that is coming in beside the infrastructure, the power supply. You understand the services, whether it's even recreation. Standard of living improves, of course, the quality of life. See, learners, you've answered so many of them. It's all given in this little presentation itself. Right? Of course, there'll be 20,000 factors that we could go over. You understand? Unless you want to learn 20,000 factors. All right. Access to better infrastructure. You can give examples, better road networks, railway networks, etc. that people can use. Skills uplifted. Can you see it? Okay, it goes on to other factors. Fourth, industrial revolution skills. You know, the computer era, etc. that's growing. All those skills are needed there. Therefore, people will be in demand. Tertiary institutions will come out. All right. Enhancing of innovative ideas. People want innovation. They want to make it smooth processes, more effective processes. So you got chances for that, for people to get in. Research, entrepreneurial development. All right. Like vendors coming up, tuck shop owners, car guards. Wouldn't that, as more and more people come in, all these people start getting employment in these different things, entrepreneurial skills, where you look at the demand, you understand, for a business, and you get involved. Better communication between companies and local technicians. all right, will have in the area. Now, I know this is more general, but examiners are nice. They want to give you every sort of answer possible, all right, between companies and local technicians, okay? Social responsibility programs, state bursaries, you understand? I would also include psychological services, etc., that'll be put in there, that the government must afford bursaries for people so that they can study and uplift their skills, give opportunities to local community to cater for tourist market. All right, more tourism is happening now as more people are getting in. You understand? So tourism is coming up. Okay, and people, local people are using this to make open businesses and make money. All right, let's go to the last one. Explain why Richards Bay would be attractive in terms of its infrastructure for both local and international investors. Why would this place be attractive for both local businesses, all right, people within the areas and the country that want to invest there? And why would international from other countries invest? Can you see, learners, all these questions are not difficult if you know your work as is indicated in this presentation. Look at these things. You know them already. A well-developed transport network, rail, sea, and road. Can you see it? All right. Minimum traffic congestion issues. Maybe you didn't know that, but it's fine. You understand, you've got two you need, and maximum you can get asked is 4. Cheaper labor costs on the outskirts compared to the core areas, something that you need to think about, which is true. All right. Cheaper labor costs, core areas are more expensive. They established a deep port harbor, which will facilitate trade internationally for exports and imports. High quality local municipality services provided, because now the quality of the municipality services will be upgraded to attract investors. Okay. Adequate power supply, all right, with coal fields nearby. Can you see it? Okay, that will attract people. They got enough power in this area and it's a little cheaper. Close to international airport. Okay, good telecommunication network where you're working when sending out transactions, etc. Right, and the break of bulk with regards to the harbor, etc. So out of this, you could have answered various points, learners, and you would have had even 8 marks if it was out of 8. So can you see that this is not difficult? Read your questions, learners. All right, you'll never know all, but you can get a maximum of 4 to explain. As you know, 4 times 2, 8. And as long as you know 4, 5, 6, I would say 6 of them, safety sake, you understand, relating to each specific, whether it's social, economic, or various questions, you are safe. Learners, that is another section for you done. All the best. Goodbye.